Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg, and we are so pleased to have in the studio a frequent guest in this venerable organization called the San Diego Children's Discovery Museum, and that is the inimitable Krishna Kabra, CEO of the San Diego Children's Discovery Museum. Always good to see you, Krishna.
So good to see you. You're so kind with your words.
Well, listen, we love it. You always energize us, and I know Charles Parisi, my buddy and the founder and CEO of Cloudcast, always a good day when you're in here. I know he's sitting in and going to hear some of the tidbits you are going to share, but for those very few Cloudcast Media listeners that have not heard you before, what's the mission of the museum?
The mission of the San Diego Children's Discovery Museum is to spark a love of learning so that all children can discover their wildest dreams.
Exactly, and wild, the key word being wild. Is it focused mainly on younger ages, pre-K through maybe elementary, or is it all across the gamut?
It's pretty much 0 to 5. We provide accessible hands-on education to all children, specifically rising communities as across the county, as we like to say. So, yeah.
Right. And the point to make on it, I know some people get confused. You are located in Escondido, okay? And the museum goes everywhere because of your mobile unit, correct?
We do. I mean, it's a lot of people don't know, but we are based up in Escondido. We have a beautiful actual museum site right off the 78 there.
Right.
And then we also have a fleet of mobile museums that travel across the county, and we've actually doubled the size of our fleet. And we travel as far south as San Ysidro and as far north as Bonsall. So we're everywhere.
So how much do you have? I mean, is there like 5 vans you have, or trucks, or mobile units, whatever you call them?
We have 4, soon to be 5. So
congratulations. That's wonderful. Are they out almost all 4 or 5 at the same day, same time?
No, they go all over. So we visit different school districts. Most recently, we did all the after-school enrichment for Escondido Union, which was fantastic. We're going to be doing Camp Cajon with Cajon Valley this summer, which
David
is super we're super excited to be doing that.
That's fantastic. And so how does someone get a hold of you? They just give you a call, they look at the website, they book the mobile unit. How long are you out there?
Best thing to do is to go on our website, sdcdm.org. And there are various different ways of getting hold of, particularly our education team, if you're interested in mobile education, yeah.
Right, but will the unit be out there? Let's say you're doing the summer for Cajon Valley and Superintendent Miyashiro. Will you be there for a week? Will you be there just for a day?
We'll be there over the summer, a couple of times a week, I believe, is what it's our first time working with them.
Sure.
But we'll be there throughout the summer. As long as they have Camp Cajon, we'll be there.
Right, exactly. So will the unit stay there when you drive it back up to?
We drive it back up, yeah.
Okay, right,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So does that mean that you've doubled your fleet and soon to add another one? You're just hiring more people to run these?
Hiring more people, always. Growth comes in different forms, right? And the beautiful thing about mobile is that it's a really smart way to grow. It doesn't involve us having to necessarily buy another building.
Right.
But we can still get across the county and have a high impact as we need to, because, everyone knows that there is a lot of children who don't have the opportunities that we would want them to have, and COVID amplified some of the impacts of the learning gap. So for school districts, we're there to support them.
Right. Krishna, we're chatting with Krishna Kabra. She is the CEO of the San Diego Children's Discovery Museum. I'm Drew Schlosberg, as you're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show on Cloudcast Media, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, doing wonderful things in San Diego for more than 60 years. And Krishna, you and I have talked about this quite a bit since I met you. How long? It almost seems I've known you for 3 decades, and it's barely 2 years or so. Is that right, or am I wrong on that?
In this lifetime and eternity.
Yeah, right. In eternity, all right. When I was a fig leaf, I guess. No, but seriously, we were only a couple of years ago, right?
I know. I think maybe a year and a half, Drew, I think.
Right, and covered a lot of ground in all that aspect. But you and I have talked about it many, many times. It's never lost on us. It's in both of our DNAs, as it is with my business partner, Charles Parisi. How many people, kids in San Diego County, have never been to the beach, and never been to the mountains, never been to a sporting event, never been to a museum, and that's never lost on me because it stuns people whose heads are in the sand, correct? Yeah,
it does. And I think, we assume that people have access to all sorts of places and locations, and that's actually not true. San Diego has one of the highest populations of refugees.
Right.
Those that live below the poverty line are really significant in numbers. We just had a partnership with the food bank where we distributed 3,500 STEM kits to kids who qualify for the backpack program, which is part of the food bank. And that's just like one little interaction. I mean, we'd love to do more. I think the biggest challenge we have is the size. I mean, if we could do more, we would do more.
Right. So how many people do you impact during a year, either that come into the museum or are involved with the mobile unit? Thousands, I imagine.
Yeah. Numbers pre-COVID were about 180,000. We're probably 20% shy of that.
Right.
And growth is the magic word for this year and next year. So I'm hoping that those numbers increase significantly.
Right, exactly. And as we mentioned before, don't let it fool everybody that you're in Escondido. Of course, you guys have, footprints through San Diego County. Do you go into Riverside County at all? Do you go into Imperial County or pretty much stay in San Diego County?
San Diego County is generally the focus. But, I mean, yesterday the mobile team, check this out, were in Bonsall and delivering programming. And I asked, how many kids did you see? And it's only one class per grade. And they love visiting those rural communities because those folks typically are lost community. They aren't considered, you know. So when we do go up, the teachers are so grateful and they have such an amazing impact.
Yeah, it's a great place up there. Joseph Clevenger is one of our favorite superintendents. I'm not sure if you know him. Been featured on a bunch of our shows here on Cloudcast, and they just do great work. Talk about Nature Night. What's that all about?
Yeah, we're so excited. Nature Night is April the 22nd. It's an annual STREAM event, science, technology, reading, art, and math, that we host every year. We're doing it on Earth Day this year, so that's very exciting. And the idea is to celebrate the planet and our passion for STEM stream education. These events allow us to partner with community organizations, and this year we have the wide gambit from bats with Project Wildlife, composting with Hidden Valley Community Farm, harvesting plants with the Salk Institute, who we partner with frequently. Thermo Fisher will be there. And then what's an evening, or what's a family event out without food? So we'll have Go-Go Food Truck, Churros Con Alma, Ruth and Amelia will be singing and dancing with the kids. It's pre-registration is required, but I encourage everybody to hop on our website and book a couple of tickets.
Right. Is it all at the museum?
All at the museum, yep.
Okay. If someone can't make the museum, is anything going to be streamed? They can't get away or whatever. They can watch it live somewhere?
I wish we had offered that. But the idea is that it's really hands-on and immersive. Sure. So, even if you may not live within North County, please do come up. It's so much fun. The kids have such a great time.
Right. And it will sell out.
Always.
Right.
Always sells out.
So shout out that website one more time.
Yeah, sdcdm.org.
Okay, it's Nature Night. And that brings up to a point. I was honored, thank you very much, to be part of your STEMposium last year. What a great success. No surprise, because you had your fingertips all over it, and of course, your unbelievably talented staff at all. But you folks, are more than STEM. You're all about STEAM, of course. And I love my colleague's STEAM is he puts an extra E in there for entrepreneurship. Talk about how important that is, because you are very, very very successful businesswoman before you became a museum CEO. Talk about how entrepreneurship is something that's blended within what you guys do.
It has to be, right? Like that's the world that the kids live in. So we would be doing them a disservice if we didn't help cultivate and foster some of those entrepreneurial spirits. And kids, like any opportunity to set up a lemonade stand, and they're all over it. And so clearly there is an interest. And outside of the school system, I think it's our responsibility to encourage them to think entrepreneurially. Like you can make money, you can provide to your community, you can build a business. Like who says that nowadays with technology the way it is? Any aged kids can run their own business on any social platform. So, we're big proponents of thinking entrepreneurially.
Yeah. Well, and listen, I think what's great about you in this, and as you know, that's my passion, is college and career pathways that you start in pre-K, probably even start in the womb for that matter. You cannot start talking to these kids about thinking about this early enough. And whether they decide to be in 15 different professions before they get out of first grade, that's okay. They'll do 15 more, and us adults do the same thing. I think it's wonderful. We come back from break. We're going to chat more with Krishna Kabra. She's the CEO of the San Diego Children's Discovery Museum. We're going to talk about Money Sense exhibit, and just absolutely something that's in the DNA of her and her staff and the museum is the importance of accessible education. When we return to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community show on Cloudcast Media, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, continuing to do great things for San Diegans for more than 60 years, and we will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit. So we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another episode of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community show on Cloudcast Media, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. We are here in the beautiful Mission Fed studios in Scripps Ranch, and Mission Fed's, again, been doing just great things for everybody in this region for 60 years. We are honored to have with us in the studio Krishna Kabra. She is the CEO of the San Diego Children's Discovery Museum, talking about Nature Night. Again, that's on April 22nd. It'll be from when to when is Nature Night?
From 5 to 7:30.
So 5 to 7:30, go to the website, sign up. It will sell out. What is Money Sense exhibit?
We have a lot of new exhibits upcoming. We're so excited. Then the most upcoming date is for an exhibit called Money Sense, very generously sponsored by the PNC Foundation.
Nice.
The launch for it will be on April the 18th. And what we were talking about earlier about entrepreneurship, the premise of Money Sense is it will be a hands-on, play-focused exhibit for the youngest learners, and an opportunity for them to learn about early numeracy skills, learning to count, recognizing numbers, comparing numerical amounts, just like the whole notion of currency and numeracy and financial fluency. It's never too early to learn those, especially when they're learning things like how to earn, spend, and save, which Lord knows most adults really need to learn too.
Well, we're in the right place for it. Mission Fed Credit Union headquarters is where we do our Spotlight show. And last week, we had on Doug Wright. Doug is their CFO, highly regarded. And Doug's a frequent guest, and especially what's been going on in this country with inflation and interest rates, and then with the failure of the Silicon Valley Bank. Doug pretty much talked us off the ledge. But one thing he's very good is hitting what you exactly talked about. And I'm not sure if other countries are like this at all. I know we stink at it, and you sort of alluded to it. We don't save, okay? And it's shocking if you went through the details of how many people actually have money saved up for a rainy day, and they don't. Now, listen, we know in some cases they do the best they can. Sometimes it's paycheck to paycheck or not even paycheck to paycheck in that aspect of it. But I think the point of it is, and I'm sure you'll be doing this in your Money Sense exhibit, is even if you're only saving $5, it's in the habit of saving, correct?
It is. And I think it's also, I mean, think about the world that the world that the kids live in now. Everything is centered and circled around instant gratification,
correct.
Right? I want, and
That's
if
right.
you add to that the pervasive culture of consumerism, that's a dangerous combination.
Right.
So the idea of wait, because it's going to serve you.
Well, you know, it's interesting. You and I've talked about it. You grew up in India, correct? If I'm not, is that right?
I'm Indian.
Okay, right.
But I grew up in East Africa and Canada and the UK, all over.
Right, all over the place. But the bottom line is, and you and I've talked about this, how you were raised and all that business and the expectations of your parents. And there's a difference between what I want and what I need, correct? Was that instilled upon you when you were younger?
100%.
Right.
I mean, my parents still talk about it all the time. My dad's MO in life now is to save everything for his grandchildren.
Right.
Because that was the culture, and that it still maintains, and that still is the culture.
Right. Now, does your wonderful daughter, who's going to be, we're very proud to say, going to be doing a curiosity ship here at Cloudcast Media, is she a saver? Does she understand the value of money? I'm sure she does, having you as a parent.
She is not a saver at all. I'm ashamed to say.
Is mom a saver?
Mom tries.
How about dad?
Dad's better.
Okay.
That's better than the rest of us.
That's very, very good. But in all seriousness to it, listen, the value of this is so critical, and you can't start talking about this at an earlier age and all that business. Yeah. And there is such a big difference between needs and wants. And now listen, we all know sometime I need this for my mental health, and there's nothing wrong with that. I need this aspect of it, and that helps you. That's a good thing on it. So with the exhibit, is it geared mainly for the same wheelhouse there, young to, fifth graders, fourth graders, third graders?
I mean, it's really, in many ways, we say 0 to 5. But I mean, if you're 7, it's still applicable. You know, some of these concepts, I mean, thinking outside of traditional education, there are very few opportunities for kids to interact with anything that is early financial fluency, right? And nowadays, kids don't even go into banks. So, like, where are they going to learn about the concept of money and what money or interest rates or the very basic of, I save this amount so that I can use it later, or I'm going to even the concept. So we talk about earn, save, and spend, but there is also share, right? Like, do I want to share my money?
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a heck of a good point, which ties to what you do and, a lot of philanthropy and making the world a better place. I'm going to bring up something that's really interesting. You mentioned the San Diego Food Bank and the partnership you had, and we've worked with them for quite a while. And when you think about this, I'm always amazed at the, magnanimous nature of those folks who don't make a lot of money, but they are great givers. And you probably look at the percentage of what they bring in and how much they give out. There's a pretty high percentage in this. And you look at the food bank. It used to be the metric is for $1, you provide 5 meals and so forth. And the point is anyone can give. You don't have to have Bill Gates' money to give. Talk about how important that is.
It's so important. The culture of, like, we are all connected, and, we're social beings, and if you can make a difference in the world, it is our responsibility to do that, irrespective of how much you earn.
That's right.
And every little bit counts. I was I had lunch with Neville a couple of weeks ago from Mission Fed, And he handed me a little packet full of things that anyone who might unfortunately be homeless
That's right.
might benefit from. And it had everything in it, from analgesics to disinfectant socks. And I took it home and I showed it to my son and I said, our weekend project should be to go to the dollar store and make as many of these as possible in paper bags, and we should distribute them. And he was all over it. And I think that any small difference that you can make in the life of someone around us is meaningful. And it teaches kids the idea of altruism, being kind.
Well, and you did something that is just so important. While kids will learn from the very first teacher, which are the parents, of course, and they're the lifelong teachers, way after they're done with their K-12 or college education, you taught the habit of giving, like it's the habit of reading. You watch your mom and dad read, and then you might be a reader and all that business. But giving back is critical. I grew up in a family that did the same thing, that we couldn't give enough for animal causes or any of those causes, and it sort of just grows upon you, and it's so important. We're chatting with Krishna Kabra. She's the CEO of the San Diego Children's Discovery Museum. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show on Cloudcast Media, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union in this wonderful studio here in Scripps Ranch. Mission Fed been doing phenomenally philanthropic and community involvement things for 60 years in San Diego. Something that is so critical, the importance of accessible education. As we know, there's a digital divide. It continues to grow as people don't have the internet or don't have the devices to do it. But that just makes the beauty of your mobile units. You will go to them if they can't come to you. Yeah,
exactly. And I think, we don't want physical, financial, geographical barriers to get in the way of what kids are entitled to, which is learning, an opportunity to learn. And so mobile allows us to do that. So we can get to communities who are remote, who are far away from Escondido, San Ysidro is a classic example, right? I remember meeting the wonderful superintendent of San Ysidro, and she said to me, Krish, 1 in 4 kids in San Ysidro are either homeless or about to become homeless.
25%. It might even be higher. That's right.
And so, if we can get to those kids, why not? We absolutely should. It's our responsibility to.
Yeah, you might have met her at our soup tank event.
I did.
Exactly.
She's wonderful.
Classroom of the Future Foundation. She's wonderful, and they're doing great. And we all know that education is an equalizer. And if anyone doesn't believe that, they shouldn't be in the field of education.
Correct.
And so forth in this. We got about a minute or so to go here. What other comments? What can we do to help support your efforts, not just with Nature Night on the 22nd, but in general? What can our listeners do?
I think 2 things. So definitely visit our website because there's a ton of information on it. But advocating for what we do, which is equitable education opportunities for all, particularly 0 to 5, where children have the steepest of learning curves is between those ages. Of course, we're a nonprofit, so contributions are always significantly valuable. It allows us to do the work that we do. And visit us, come by and be interested. And even, talking to a couple of donors yesterday, and they're like, we don't have kids, but we want to be a part of this. And I said, come and volunteer. We're always looking for volunteers.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. I must have been reading my mind, which is a scary thing to do, to be honest with you. But you're looking for board members.
We are looking for a couple of board members, yes, right now. Okay. We are definitely an active board, so we expect a lot of participation from our board. Really, really important.
Right.
We're building our advisory committee. So Neville, who I mentioned earlier, is our inaugural first member of our advisory committee. We're honored.
Great choice.
Yeah. And we always have committees also that are looking for real talent.
Okay, shout out that website one more time.
sdcdm.org.
Again, everyone take a look at that. Nature Night is coming up on April 22nd, celebrating Earth Day. Krishna, always a great day to start off our spotlight shows with you. We know we'll have you back in sooner than later. And when you do come back in, why don't you bring a family or some kids that have benefited from what's been going on at the museum, maybe someone that really enjoyed the Nature Night.
I would love to do that. Absolutely. You're done. Absolutely. We'll do that.
We'll look forward.
Great idea.
Yeah, always appreciate you coming in, Krishna Kabra, CEO of the San Diego Children's Discovery Museum. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. As you've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, doing great things for San Diegans for more than 60 years. We hope you enjoyed the show.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.